So I've read a lot of different philosophies about performance and sort of the inner game of There's this really cool book called The Inner Game of Music, and I'm going to be rereading that as I prepare for the song that I'm going to sing. But generally, I think it's very interesting when you stand on a stage. A lot gets transmitted. A lot that's going on with you gets mirrored by the audience, and that's just a really interesting position to be in. I think that self-love from somebody standing on a stage is very powerful. It helps people to love themselves. I realize ever since Napoleon Dynamite came out, I have just been in love with this, to me, seems like a new genre of awkward comedy. You know, maybe that's not new, but that's where it came to my attention. Like, there's this whole world of comedy that's based on laughing about how awkward people can be and how awkward their interactions can be. And I think that what appeals to me so much about that, and probably what appeals to most people about it, is that it makes me feel okay about my own awkwardness. It helps me love myself in my awkwardness, which I have plenty of. And that's like a truly beautiful and transformative thing. I mean, when you think, it seems so silly, something like Napoleon Dynamite, it's just a ridiculous movie, but it's actually very healing. And I think that comedy oftentimes is a very healing thing for that very reason. That when you take a shadow part of yourself, something that you tend to want to hide or be ashamed of, and you expose it in front of a group of people in a state of loving acceptance towards yourself, which you have to have. If you're going to joke about something, you have to have some degree of loving acceptance toward it, or else people wouldn't laugh. They would get uncomfortable. You can talk about anything if you can have some degree of loving kindness and acceptance for it. Then you can bring it out and you can laugh about it, and it heals you, and it heals everybody in the audience, because they get this little taste of like, oh, it's okay to talk and laugh about that. Maybe I'm okay, you know? And I love that. So, for anybody who has any degree of social anxiety, I just want to say that I understand what that feels like, and I am totally amazed by my life right now, and that has gotten so much better. And I guess I just want to say that it really can get better, and for me, it's just been taking it one step at a time, you know? Seriously, like 4 years ago was when I had a huge change in my life, and I lost like almost everything, including most of my friends and my home and my business and my partner, who I had just gotten married to. I lost all of that. And so obviously I was in a very dark place, and I had to start over socially. And it was very hard. And ever since then, I've just taken one small step at a time until I've gotten to the place that I am now. So in the beginning, honestly, just going to a small gathering of friends was very hard for me. And there were, plenty of times that I chickened out and I couldn't even do it. Or I would go and then I would feel like I had failed so horribly and made such an idiot of myself and beat myself up so bad afterwards. And now, not that I don't ever feel anxious. I feel anxious all the time. But my tolerance level has grown significantly. So 4 years ago, the level of anxiety that I would have felt about going to a party, now maybe that's the level of anxiety I feel about singing in front of hundreds of people. It's like, and because I've walked through that fear so many times, I know that that's possible, and I know that it can be okay, even if I feel nervous. And my willingness to be among people and speak in front of people just keeps growing and growing every time I have another experience that works out okay. And a lot of it also has to do with not judging myself so harshly. That I have a new set of criteria to judge whether or not I was successful. I think I used to scour, after some interaction with other people, I would go back over it and try and I would be focusing on any awkward moments, and I would blow them way up out of proportion, and I would think because I had this awkward moment, I totally failed, and they all probably think I'm stupid and never want to see me again, and blah, 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 blah. I think back then, in order for me to feel like I had been successful, I would have had to be 100% non-awkward and perfect. And anything that deviated from that resulted in me beating myself up. So obviously, I was beating myself up a lot. Slowly that's changed, and now I have a new philosophy if I'm evaluating how I did in any kind of like social situation or public speaking situation, and it's more like this. It's like, did I show up? Check. Did I not make a complete asshole out of myself to the point that like nobody would ever want to talk to me again? Check. Really, realistically. Like, honestly, did I say or do anything that was so incredibly offensive that people would cringe when they heard my name? Okay, no. Check. That's it. If I can check off those two things, it was successful. Because it's only going to, and everything on top of that is a bonus. I had a genuine connection with a person where I felt like we really understood each other. Ding, 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 ding. Extra bonus points. Did I meet somebody who could become a client, who seemed happy, and who scheduled a session? Whoa! Extra super double million bonus points. Did I make a good impression on somebody who I deemed to be important? Whoa! Over, above, and beyond, super amazing bonus points. You get the idea. It's just about like being more realistic and more kind to myself, because even if I didn't get any of those super amazing bonus points, even if I just showed up and didn't make a total ass of myself, that's moving me forward in my recovery from social anxiety, and it's moving me forward in my career in ways that maybe I can't even know right now. It's just generally moving me forward as far as networking and being connected to other people. So yeah, those are my thoughts of the day on coming out of my shell and sharing who I am with the world, and I hope that it might encourage you to share who you are with the world, because that's a thing. If you're watching this, you probably think that I'm an interesting person who's worth watching, right? I barely feel that way, and any amount of that I have is pretty new. And so I guess the point is, if you feel like not interesting or important or whatever, you just don't think that you have what it takes to speak in front of people, it's probably not true, just because I think everybody can feel that way sometimes. Probably even famous people feel that way sometimes. I just really think that everybody has a unique view on reality. Everyone has gone through different kinds of experiences, and I think that the value of your contribution to other people comes out of knowing yourself and honesty with yourself. So to whatever degree you can be honest about your experience, it's going to be helpful and valuable for people to watch you and listen to you. And maybe that can be encouragement for people to be real with themselves. So yeah, just be yourself. Ducks. Blah, 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 blah.